What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Was that not important? So we're gonna start with cornerbacks. I mentioned a few days ago, hey, I think Jaire would be a great sign up for the Dolphins. Got to figure out the money situation. I know he's in high demand. We may not have the money for him. Evidently, not a money thing. He signed with Baltimore today for a 1 year, $4 million deal, like guaranteed, with 2 more million like an incentive. So it could be a $6 million deal total. That is not the contract I envision. I was thinking 1 year, at least 10 to 12 million. Maybe a 2 year. I think I said 2 year, 20 million plus some incentives. That's kind of what I thought he would be going for. Now, there's some circumstances attached to this, right? He went to college with Lamar Jackson, so they probably been friends since then till now. Lamar did a press conference yesterday, and he was like, "Yo, Eric, go get him." People asked about him, and then the deal happened. So I do think this is maybe a homie hookup. That's definitely part of it because he certainly could have got more than 4 million a year. He's getting paid less than Zach Wilson. I know it seems gratuitous at this point. I'm standing 10 toes down. Never a Zach Wilson fan, but he's getting paid less than that, and he's shown that at his best he's one of the top handful of corners in the league. Now, very risky play. This is more or less a lottery ticket. We're paying you 4 million up to 6, with the idea that if you get hurt, 4 to 6, not the biggest thing in the world. But if you ball, oh my God, what a steal! If you ball, and for him, 1 year, I get to play with a team that's very much in the Super Bowl window with a quarterback I know and believe in, on a defense that's already stacked aside from adding me. And if I ball this year, there will be money coming. But I believe Jaire's 28. He's got another 4 to 5 years in him. So if this year goes well, he's going to get that 3 to 4 year extension, 60 plus million. So he knows the money's on the back end. He's already made some money at Green Bay, so he's not exactly going into this broke. But now, as a Dolphin fan, I'm looking back like, what was the offer that we could have made for him? Because I never saw any definitive evidence that we even offered him a deal. But what we offering him that he took 4 million from them? Because I know their salary cap is very tight, so maybe they couldn't give him any more than that. I think we could have given him more than 4 million though. So we offered him 6, maybe 8. Would that have been like a deal breaker? They said we weren't interested at all. I think that may be true because we haven't heard any offers. But I think if he was going for 4 million, we should have been interested. That's what I'm saying. If it was 10, 12, 15 million, we don't need that. Can't afford it. Risky, injury prone. 4 to 8 million. I mean, we signed Kendall Fuller for 8 million a year, and then he immediately got hurt. So we've shown a history in very recent memory of paying for a guy who's talented but injury prone, giving him really good money, and then he betrayed us. So maybe, he didn't betray us; he got hurt. So maybe the idea to some degree is we've done this before in recent memory, and that didn't go well, so we don't want to go that way again. But I think Jaire at his peak is much better than Kendall Fuller was at his peak, and he's getting paid half the money. I'm just intrigued by this because that does kind of muddy the waters with the cornerback market, right? Because we're trying to offload Jalen Ramsey and pull in Rasul Douglas. I know we offered him more than 4 million a year, so does that make Rasul's number come down even further? This actually might end up being a very good deal for Miami. We didn't go out to Jaire, but if he's going in for 1 for 4, then whatever Rasul's asking for, he can't come in there and be like, give me 12 to 15. Like, dude, you're not better than Jaire. You're also older. Like, so if his number comes down even better, because that means he's probably coming closer to where we want. I haven't heard any other like rumblings that he's imminent to go to another team. So I think all in all, if I could have had a corner, I like Jaire more than everybody else because I like talent and upside. But if we're going out there someone solid to fill in and Rasul's price come down a little bit, I think all in all, pretty good deal. Now we're talking about cornerbacks. We got to talk about Jalen Ramsey, right? Right now, it seems like the smoke is very much pointed towards the Rams. I think the Raiders are still in there, but because he played with the Rams and the Rams are a good team, I think the Raiders are going to be better than people might think they're going to be. I think the Rams are actually a good team. I think you can have them as a third, fourth best odds to come out of the West or NFC West. Like, come out of the NFC. They're going to win the West, in my opinion. But out of the NFC total, I think Philadelphia for sure. Um, Washington's still up there, and I think whoever wins the North, right? So if that's Chicago, if that's Green Bay, if that's Detroit, Minnesota, one of them, and I think the Rams are right there. I think the Rams are a little bit above Tampa and above like everyone else in that fray. So I think they're a real contender. You've played there before. Their defense is young and good. You know it's a scheme fit. Makes sense, right? Now, there are obstacles to making this trade. It's not just a matter of do we want him or do we not want him. And Sean McVay delved into a few of those because people ask him, hey, are you signing Jalen? And he said, before this, he said, well, there's some obstacles to, kind of take into consideration. But specifically, what is his salary? Are we able to take on that just based on our current situation? When you onboard a player that's earned the right to be paid where he's at. Those are the things that you usually planned months in advance, and obviously it was unforeseen that he would become available. Yeah, that makes sense. Like he's getting paid near top of the market cornerback pay. I think it's 4 or 5 corners getting paid more than him at the moment. So he's near top of the market, and the contract is, if he gets traded, the contract has to be paid out. He's not getting cut by us, right? So they pick him up, they have to take on that salary, or, and the article kept going, he talked about, it's how much is Miami going to take on? How does he fit in our scheme? We know he fits in the scheme, but the money situation, and then he talked further about draft compensation, like what are they asking for in return? That's really what's holding the whole deal up right now. I don't believe there's any love lost between the two. I think they like each other. I also think he fits the team. I think that makes sense as a marriage. If he went to the Rams, people were like, yeah, that checks out to me. But the little variables in here are what's holding things up because I don't think the Rams, when they went and got Devontae Adams, were thinking, oh, at some point Jalen Ramsey will also be available. Not saying they would have done anything different, but Devontae means we got rid of Cooper Kupp. Then we got Devontae, and we started making moves on that front. Oh, now Jalen Ramsey's available. Cool. That could enhance our defense, but we just spent capital this way, right? I think sometimes, had we known this whole thing was coming down, they probably would have done the same thing. I think Devontae definitely fills a void that Cooper Kupp kind of stepped back from last year, and their defense was really good even without a Jalen Ramsey. But if you add him, you know, nice little boost there. So I like the fact that he's even answering the questions that honestly, because coaches will duck a question immediately. Hey, what's up with Jalen Ramsey? I'm just really trying to deal with the guys in the locker room right now. We have a great team, great energy, great mentality. We're just gonna coach up the guys who are here right now, and we'll let all the noise on the outside just be noise on the outside. That is coach speak. We've all seen it. It's very annoying because you're like, hey man, give me something to grab onto. But they know if you give them anything to grab onto, we're gonna grab onto it. And we're gonna talk about it, and it could get blown out of proportion. It's like, oh, Sean McVay hates his cornerbacks. Like, that's not what I said. I said Jalen's a great player. It'll be great to have him. And now it's like, oh, is Jalen better than your current cornerback? And then it becomes a thing. So coaches don't say anything. So the fact that Sean McVay answered the question that as in depth as he did tells me that he's not really afraid of that part of the backlash, but also there's probably genuine interest because why would you risk the blowback by answering the question that thoroughly? You could just be like, hey, Jalen's a great player, and I'm sure he'll land in the right situation. Be out. Easy coach speak. But he gave like in-depth talks. So I was like, okay, there's definitely discussions going on behind the scenes. I still think Rams are leader in the clubhouse. Raiders close second. And I think there might be a couple dark horses like, Commanders, maybe Detroit, that are floating out there that we don't know about, but are just kind of, waiting in the wings. Now, finally, I didn't want to talk about this story again, but I'm back talking about this story again because it's one of those stories that just doesn't die. And it's funny to me because the last time I talked about it, I said, Tyreek, just focus on football. We're going to be talking about races, and you going against the fastest man in the world. And over the weekend, Tyreek ran in the 100, a 10-1, which is fast. Really fast. Like, top 20-ish in the world, top 15 maybe. It's not faster than Noah Lyles, but it is fast. And so then Noah said, hey, the race is off, complications, yada, yada, yada. I thought Tyreek would just let it ride. Hey, he dropped the race. He said personal reasons, no big deal. But he couldn't do that. I don't know who I thought Tyreek was. I know him to not be not petty. So I don't know why I thought he would be a bigger person. I thought he turned a new leaf over. I was wrong. he immediately posted a meme of the Homer Simpson where he's outside of the bushes and he slides into the bushes, and then he's like, "Oh, Noah Lyles don't want to see me." It's just basically implying that Noah is ducking him in a race, which again, it's so ridiculous. It's clickbaity. I don't know if he's trying to like goad him into doing the race, or if it's just a matter of I got to get this off real quick. I had this meme locked and loaded. Bow. You never know. I hope this is just one last shot across the bow. Boom. Let me get my little meme off, get some engagement, laugh at it, maybe bring it up in the podcast, and we let it die. What I don't want to see happen is Noah be like, you know what? I don't care about the money. I'll meet you in Miami, and then here we go. I do not want any part of this race. I can't stress that enough. Just focus on the field. You got to understand, Tyreek for 2 consecutive years had over 1,700 yards, and last year was under 1,000. It's one of the craziest drop-offs I've ever seen in my life for someone who didn't miss like a significant number of games. I just want to see him get back to that Tyreek. I want to see him get back there, and some of that is on him, right? I don't think his route running was the best last year. I thought he may have been injured, obviously, so maybe he couldn't do what he wanted to do. I think getting back in sequence with Tua is a big deal. I just think focusing on the field is the most important thing. We know you're good at social media. We know you're fast. That's enough. I don't want to see this again. And if I do another story, that means that he kept talking about it or Noah's talking about it again. And y'all know I don't want to talk about it, but I have to because it's so delicious. Let's just focus on football, okay? Let's do that. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for the likes and subscribes. Again, we officially are at 1.5K subs. We're on the road to 2K. We'll see you there. Thank y'all for having us. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily.